How's it, golf fans? Reid Fowler here, gearing up for our next tournament, the WGC Championship down in Mexico. We're joined again with Brentley Romine from GolfWeek, Assistant Editor from GolfWeek, and we're here to talk a little bit about the course, the players, but I just want to get right into it. Jordan Spieth, this guy, 0% or close to a small number of experts have chosen Jordan Spieth to do well at this course. What do you think it is? Is it something mechanical that you see? Is it just golf? Is it something else? So elaborate on that a little bit with Jordan Spieth.
Well, I think it's a little bit of everything. There's no secret that Jordan hasn't been putting great to start the season, but looked good at Riviera on POA. The putting has been coming around, and Chapultepec Golf Club in Mexico City has POA greens. And I think a lot of people really think that the putting is going to continue to improve. And Spieth shot 63 in the third round there last year, finished T12, ranks 12th on tour in strokes gained tee to green, top 10 in greens hit. So I think a lot of people, including myself, just really think that this could be a week where Spieth either wins or contends.
Yeah, because a guy like Spieth, if you looked at him last year as well, the putter wasn't really working. He had some changes in equipment, but then he came right back at the Open Championship and he won. So it's interesting to see if that guy has any weaknesses. Is it, just golf? It remains to be seen. But now let's get to the course, right? We know that this course sits at a pretty high level above sea level, right? It's around 7,000. So elevation is going to play a factor. There are some courses on tour that we have some course corollaries. What do you think are the top 2 or 3 things that elevation will do to the ball and some of these guys have to contend with? And what needs to change, right? Do we club down? In your opinion, what needs to change?
Yeah, so Justin Rose said something interesting yesterday, talking about how the higher you hit the ball, not necessarily how far, but the higher a guy hits the ball, the more it stays in the air, right? So in elevation, that's going to affect it. So if you're a low ball guy and you're hitting it 300 yards, a guy who like Dustin Johnson or Jason Day's not playing, but a guy like that who hits it high 300 yards is going to go a lot further. So yeah, your guys are rushing to TrackMan early this week to try to, spend time on each club, seeing how far each club goes. But come Thursday, I don't think it's going to be an issue because these guys are going to know what every club does, how far it's going to go. And, it's interesting because a lot of people look at the yardage for this course and they see 7,300 yards and change, but really it's going to play more like 66 and change, maybe 67. So there's going to be a lot of wedges into greens and, so it's not just going to be just a brutally long course for these guys.
Right. So you mentioned that, right? The TrackMan, right? That for those of us who don't know, right? TrackMan covers club head speed, right? Ball speed, all of these metrics that these guys really, go through a fine tooth comb with on the range or in practice. In your opinion, of those statistics, what would you be looking at to say, okay, a guy like, Dustin Johnson or Jordan Spieth, are they looking at club head speed with wedges? Are they looking at spin rates? In your opinion, what would you factor in that sense?
So I think what every player is looking at is they're still going to be looking at carry distance, and they're going to be looking at how much roll they're getting with their driver. They're going to be looking at those yardage numbers because spin rate. Yeah, a lot of these guys know their spin rate. A lot of them are trying to reduce spin off the tee, but you still need to know how far you're carrying the ball. You need to know how far it's going to go. So that's really the most important thing.
Yeah. No, it's very interesting to see with all of this data now, right? These guys can go through it and really club down. Next question, right? WGC events, obviously more FedEx Cup points, bringing in world rankings, right? World golfers. And we have a treat where there are some other players from other tours that we don't necessarily see, or the casual golfers don't necessarily see from the Asian tours, some of these other ones. In your opinion, who are a couple guys, maybe one that you really like coming into this tournament that we may have not heard of yet?
Well, obviously a lot of these Europeans, Tommy Fleetwood, all those guys, people know those guys, right? But when you're in DraftKings, you're trying to, get some guys with good value, guys in the 6,000s, maybe low 7,000. So I'm looking right now, and there's one name that really stands out, and if I can actually find him on this, it's kind of tough. But Dylan Fratelli, he's a South African. He played at Texas. He's had, I think, 10 or 11 top 20s or 10 top 20s in his last 11 starts. Played well last week at the Honda, finished solo 11th. So he's really a guy that I have my eye on. Sharma, and I'm not even going to say his last name because I'm definitely going to butcher it, but he leads the European Tour Order of Merit. I think he's won twice this season already, but he's another guy that I really look to do well. And then a real deep sleeper, because I know some DraftKings players will probably be looking for that really cheap guy, is Chan Kim. He played at Arizona State a long time ago now, it seems, but I think he's about high, maybe 27, 28, but he played well at the British Open last year, and he's definitely a cheap option, and has done his time on the Asian Tour, the Japan Tour, European Tour stops. So he's another guy that drives it straight and really has the tee to green game to contend here this week.